What's up, Swifties? It's Denise Salcedo, and I am back with the very lovely, the very talented, the biggest Swiftie I know, Tiffany Taylor. What's up, Tiffany?
Hey, Denise, and you're the biggest Swiftie I know. Wow, what an introduction. Here we are.
I can't believe that we're here once again. Tiffany, we were just sitting here in these exact same seats having a very similar conversation about, a few months ago, really. And now we're back here again talking about another Taylor Swift album. I mean, how do you feel that we're even just here once again?
Wow, all I can say is she needs to stop surprising us like this. I love it, but at the same time, waking up to news that a new Taylor Swift album is dropping tonight, the text message, the calls, my phone was blowing up all day. It was a lot. I was just so unprepared. And even though Swifties were thinking that something was on the horizon, everybody was looking at the Easter eggs and the clues, wondering what she was doing. Nobody thought it would be a whole new album with, countless brand new songs. So I was really excited.
I can't believe it either. And I remember when she put out that tweet that had the 9 emojis, and I thought, okay, she's just putting 9 emojis. And it's so dumb of me to think that she wasn't teasing at something when because I try not to overthink things, There's so many times where she puts things and it's not an Easter egg, and we all work ourselves thinking that something's gonna happen and then nothing does. And then she does something, and then I'm thinking, oh, she's just being normal. She's just tweeting, and it ends up being something. By the way, we have a bunch of people who are in the chat right now. I want to give some shout outs to Rachel Schallenbarger, who's in here, Julia the Swiftie.
Hi, Julia.
Fred Klein, who's also in here, Jody O'Reilly, Greg Courtney, Fatima 13, and Beatrice, and Nina Alexandrova. You guys are awesome so much for being in here. I'm excited because we get to kind of dive into, Evermore. And everybody had been asking me, Denise, what are your favorite songs? What do you think of the album? And I was like, you guys got to come into the stream with Tiffany and I because we are going to talk about it. So, Tiffany, when you found out that, okay, the album is out, were you completely shocked by this, where you kind of felt like, okay, this isn't real, what's happening here?
I think I could believe it just because after Folklore and that huge surprise, that really caught me off guard. But then with Evermore, I was like, you know what, now this is her new thing, just dumping brand new albums on us. I mean, there's so many theories that another one could be coming in a few months. So now it's like we're prepared on, high alert at all times because you never know what can happen when you're a Swiftie, truly.
Seriously, I feel the exact same way. So like I said, I did not see this coming whatsoever. I was asleep when she made the announcement. I didn't find the announcement out until 4 hours later. And I was so angry because I was like, I could have been up. I could have been creating videos, getting a head start on all of this. And it's very stressful when Taylor releases an album because you're like, okay, especially because it's a surprise. You don't have time to plan. And you're like, okay, I got to set up my reactions. I got to make sure I'm ready. What's my game plan here? And then
it messes up your whole daily schedule. You're having a listening party. You're live tweeting. I was on the phone with different friends who were Swifties all day long, just talking about like what we thought was going to happen, what to expect. I mean, it truly, your whole day, it goes up in flames and becomes all about Taylor Swift when she does something like that.
Yes, it really is. By the way, we have a very nice comment from Karen who says, "Oh, the girls are adorable and fun."
Karen, you're always so nice. Thank you.
Yes. Julia the Swiftie says, "Oh my God, Queen's looking stunning."
Hyping us up. That's so nice of you.
I really
merch. I have a Folklore sweatshirt on.
Oh, I love it. You always rock the tie-dye, Tiffany. That's one of the things I've noticed about you. I'm like, I feel like Tiffany always has she always has the tie-dye Taylor Swift merch.
Do I? Oh, I do. Yeah, with the colored the lover t-shirt. That is tie-dye. I know. Maybe it's just very in style right now. I don't know.
And I was seeing all of your photo shoots that you were doing too with your Folklore merch. I was like, she's killing it here.
Oh, you're so nice. Hey, I mean, you got to get the content while you can, right? So I was like, I waited so long for the Folklore merch. Now there's Evermore merch. I haven't even gotten around to buying yet. But once I finally got the sweatshirt and the cardigan, I was like, I need to show this merch off that I waited for so long.
You know what I can't believe, Tiffany? I can't believe that I bought all 8 covers of that Folklore album. And now I'm buying more CDs. And then when Taylor redrops, all of her albums, her past albums that she's redoing, I'm like, that is more albums on top of that. I mean, it's insane.
I have to admit, with
Sorry.
read the comment.
I know, I'll pull it up right now. Go for it.
But so I was gonna say that with Lover, I bought all 4, diaries, and I bought the, hard copy. But with this one, with Folklore, I, not this one, I guess, but the one before, I just bought the 2 that were at Target. Because all 8, I was like, I can't spend that money right now. But you did. So you know what? A true Swiftie you are.
I did, but it's like they're still sort of just, sitting there. It's more for like collection purposes.
Yes.
It's not like I'm doing anything special with them, but I was like, I gotta have them because
I get it.
I did the 4, the diaries for Lover, and I was like, I can't just do like this, like a few for Folklore. So I'm hoping that she doesn't, and I'm assuming she would have already done it if she was going to drop 9 different covers for Evermore. I would have been like, all right, I think I got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think so. She probably would have, already done it, but we'll.
Yes. Rachel says, I woke up when I saw the news of the new album from Taylor Nation, and I thought I was seeing things. Yeah, especially when you wake up and you're sort of delusional. Your brain's not really all there.
Yeah, it's like you always wake up to text messages from friends, seeing the tweets. I know I have Taylor's tweets on, I get the alerts to my phone. So you always then see the notifications, and it was a lot to process.
Fred Klein says, Denise, you're on a roll, 3 live streams in a row. Tiffany, I did finish so I think
Today?
I'm on to something. No. Okay. So about a few months ago when Taylor released Folklore, I had scheduled streams for Lover because we were supposed to have Lover Fest. And so I was like, okay, we're not going to be doing Lover Fest. Let me go ahead and finish the lyrics for Lover. And I did a bunch of other Lover themed games on this channel. And then she dropped Folklore that exact same weekend. So get this. So I scheduled finish the lyric streams for Folklore this weekend, and bam, she dropped Evermore.
She's messing with your schedule. She just keeps on doing more stuff.
Whenever I do Evermore streams, she's gonna drop that next. If it's a 3rd album in the trilogy, or just the next TS10 is what I'm firmly seeing here.
Well, so that's what you've got to do, is schedule the stream, so then she'll drop it. That's how it works.
Exactly. Karen says, Swifties be like canceling plans just in case you drop another album. Seriously, I really think so. So Rayma has a question here. She says, do you guys like Evermore or Folklore more? So we are definitely going to talk about that. But let's just kind of go ahead and, kick it off. So we talked about our reactions to the Evermore release, and basically just really did not expect it. I didn't expect it. Tiffany, I know you didn't expect it, because I know we would have been texting about this prior had we expected it. So the album is here. We've gotten to listen to the first tracks. And so what are your initial thoughts on Evermore? How do you feel about the album? How did you feel about it when you first listened to it to now? Because we all know it's a whole entire journey.
I really loved it, and I've got to be honest, I liked it better than Folklore. My first listen, I was like, wow, I am really into this, because I think the first track, Willow, is just so good. The music video is so beautiful that as soon as I heard Willow, I was like, oh, I am into this. I am on the Evermore ride. So do we want to talk favorite tracks?
Go for it. Well, actually, we'll get into favorite tracks afterwards, but I kind of wanted to get your idea, like your first rough ideas on that. By the way, Jane A sends in a super sticker. Thank you so much to Jane A. And then we have a super chat. This is from Trevor Swift. Thank you so much, Trevor. He says,
Trevor.
Is happiness still your song? Question. If not, which one is your song? Mine is 'Tis the Damn Season. So Trevor, we will get to that, but I appreciate your super chat so much for sending this in. This is really very kind of you. So we will answer that in a second. So, all right. So basically, I wanted to know like your initial thoughts on the album, because for me, and it's interesting that you said that you liked Evermore faster than you liked Folklore, because I think I liked Folklore faster than I liked Evermore. So we're a little bit opposite on here, because it took me a second for a couple of the songs for me to like get into them. But by the third time that I was listening to them, I was like, oh my God, this album is brilliant, blah, blah, blah. But for me, personally, the first time I listened to Evermore, I thought it was the saddest album ever. I thought it was completely sadder than Folklore. And then afterwards, like once I like got into like, you know, listening to everything more and more, I realized that not only is it, okay, it's a sad album, but it's also an album about so many different aspects of life. And I think that was probably my favorite thing about Evermore, where I think Folklore, you still have that in Folklore, but I think Folklore is still more of a I think it has more incorporations about love than Evermore does. I think Evermore is more about, life situations, dark situations that people, get into.
Yeah.
And so I really, really like that. And so that I think for me, that was like the major, major difference here. Flora K says, I don't think there'll be a third album. She was very clear on this album being a closure, but I'm sure she has many other surprises in store for 2021. So I won't keep you guys all waiting here. So let's go ahead and talk about our favorite songs and lyrics. So we might as well just get to that. Tiffany, what were your favorite songs of Evermore?
All right. So first listen, my favorite songs immediately were, and I think I'm a person who I know my favorite songs right away. Sometimes a song can grow on you a little bit, but I think I know my favorite tracks right from the first listen. And so they are, hold on. I'm going to pull up the track.
Pull them up, girl. Pull them up. I was going to do the exact same thing.
So I can really, make sure I don't miss anything. Favorite songs, Willow. Definitely Willow. Gold Rush. 'Tis the Damn Season. Wow, what a song. Also, I'm home in Omaha, Nebraska, my hometown right now, staying at my parents' house. And honestly, there's not a boy here that I have a past with that I could text or call, but I wish there was, so I could look up the 'Tis the Damn Season lyrics. But there's nobody there. But it's totally like a relatable song in that way.
Yes.
Other favorites, my number one favorite on the album is Long Story Short. Love that one. Also, Marjorie. I love Marjorie so much, and I'll talk about it for a minute.
Go for it.
First of all, super emotional song, and I'm going to try actually not to get sad talking about it. I thought I wouldn't, but now talking about it's making me kind of sad. But my grandma passed away 2 weeks ago, and so I've been home here with my family, and hearing the lyrics of Marjorie, they were my favorite lyrics on the album, and it hit right home. I'm like the amount I cried listening to that song. I actually don't know if I've ever cried that hard at a Taylor Swift song. It really was like just the time I needed to hear it. And all the lyrics of that song, I think, are my favorite on the album. And it really just hit close to home. It's like so often I feel like Taylor Swift songs, remind us of people we've dated or love stories we've had. And this one was like, just a family relationship that was so important to me. And so I really loved Marjorie. I was really, I felt like meant to be that I heard this song now and that she released it at this time. But so those are my main favorites, I would say, on the album. Those are the ones that first listen I was like, this is it.
I know. And first of all, Tiffany, love to your grandma. And I'm so sorry. And we've had conversations about your grandma in the past before. And when I saw the photo that you posted of her on your Instagram, I was just like, I don't know. My heart went out to you and to your family and to your grandma. And, I completely feel you because obviously my grandma is like the most important person in my life too. And so just really listening to Marjorie, I completely agree with you in the sense that I think this is the song that in terms of lyrics that really grab you and really, really touch that core of your heart. I think she really, really did it with Marjorie because I think the thing that really made this song was a lot of the specifics that she did where she talks about, seeing her write her name, how she says she should have saved those grocery store receipts because every scrap of her was taken. And those little tiny things, was just like, oh my God,
I know.
She really, really nailed it because that's how you would feel, So I get it.
Definitely. Oh gosh.
Yeah, we're
I know, such a beautiful song. But it's interesting though, now we'll get back into the happy mode. It is a sad album, but it was so interesting. Then I was kind of on TikTok watching Evermore TikToks, of course, were showing up on my For You page. And I was seeing some interesting, things about Marjorie. And it was interesting. I didn't realize in the Wildest Dreams music video, Taylor is supposed to be portraying her grandmother, Marjorie, on the director's chair or the actor chair, that she's sitting in. It says Marjorie Finlay on it, which is her grandma's name. And then her grandma's name is on the marquee when they're at the movie theater. So I thought it was interesting that she'd, referenced her grandmother before, even if we hadn't noticed.
Exactly. No. And I think that's a beautiful comparison. And it's one of the things that anytime Taylor brings out an album, you start to make these connections with these past albums, whether it be past, parallel connections with the lyrics or whether it be even with her music video. So it's been pretty interesting to sort of see different things, sort of tie into one another. We do have another super chat from Jane A. Thank you so much to Jane, who says, both albums are just interwoven into each other. Do you think the same thing?
I definitely think they connect, and I think we saw that, in the Willow music video, how it picks up where the Cardigan music video left off. It has the golden invisible string. It does seem like, not just stylistically, but with the stories, they are interwoven, and maybe even more so than we realize. If we get another Disney Plus concert special, maybe we'll find out even more stories.
I really, really hope so that we do get it. We have a comment from Flora K who says, every song has its thing, but Gold Rush is amazing, probably because it's so relatable. Also, I love the country comeback in both country songs, but Cowboy and Me is absolutely beautiful. I do think we got a lot of very, country Taylor in this one. And the thing is that we also had it, with songs like Betty, which made it, on the top charts for country radio. But we also saw a little bit more of that. And that's one of the things I too want to mention before I mention my favorite songs off the album is that I always feel like every album prior to the new album has a hint of what we're going to get in the next album. Because when I go back and think about Lover, there are certain songs on Lover where I'm like, you know what? She was already heading towards that direction with Folklore. And then if you think about her album Red, she had songs on there that were already hinting at the direction that she was going to go at with 1989. And I started thinking about that and I was like, you know what? Like there's always like this hint of where Taylor is going because she has this natural process of how she navigates her music and which direction she wants to go in to, she doesn't really stick to a genre. And I really feel that I started to make these different connections. So you mentioned some of your favorite songs, and I do want to touch back on Willow because Willow was obviously, the single for this song, for this album, you can say. We got the music video. She did it just like she did with Cardigan. Are you more Willow or are you more Cardigan?
I think I'm more Willow.
Willow? Yes, I completely agree with you, Tiffany. I instantly liked Willow more than I instantly liked Cardigan.
I agree.
It was just like my favorite parts too was when she said, wreck my plans, that's my man. Like that one lyric completely drove the song up for me to like another level.
I agree. It was like, I wouldn't say it was super catchy because it's not like what you traditionally think of as a catchy song, but it just kept it moving, And I mean, the music video with the witches, I was like, this girl has gone full witch. Wow. She is here. She is prancing in the cloak. I was into it.
And she's had like the witches thing when she did Reputation, she's made a nod to the witch thing for a while now.
I love it.
Exactly. We have some few comments here that I want to read out. Christopher Hendricks says, Marjorie, the lyrics video made me cry. And I think what did it too was that she put like imagery. She had like videos and photos. And I was like, oh my God. Jody O'Reilly says, I love Champagne Problems and Nobody, No Crime.
Yes.
Derek says, people are starting to think she might go into a more country route, but she might troll us. And we have another super chat from Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
God. She says, Champagne Problems, James, proposal to Betty when she just wasn't ready due to his affair.
Oh,
that's interesting, though, because Taylor did say that in the Q&A session, she said that none of the stories from Folklore with that, the triangle with James, Betty, and Augusta or Inez or any of that transfer into Evermore. But it is sort of interesting how you can still make those parallel collections. And then Karen.
I was going to say, we'll read Karen's comment, but then I want to hear your favorite songs.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm like all over the place today. Karen says, I think the same about Lover. The Archer is definitely one I can see being a track on Folklore. What do you guys think? Yes, 100%.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
That's definitely one of the songs. And I wasn't even thinking about The Archer when I thought about it. I was thinking more like different route, but The Archer is definitely one of them.
It's Nice to Have a Friend, I think, is definitely one. When you heard it on Lover, you were kind of like, oh, what is this? But I could totally hear it also being on Folklore or Evermore.
Okay, so you said that you knew your favorite song right away. Wait, you said your favorite was Willow? That was your most favorite?
My number one favorite is Long Story Short, but my top favorites are, we'll recap just to remind everyone, Willow, Gold Rush, 'Tis the Damn Season, Marjorie, and Long Story Short.
Long Story Short. Okay. We have a super chat from Jobber JJ. Thank you so much, Jobber JJ. He says a super chat for super awesome people loving this stream. Thank you.
Your subscribers are always so nice, Denise. I always love doing these streams with you because they are always just the best.
I know. I'm so lucky. It makes me really happy. Like, and I've been seriously, like, I've been promoting this stream. I was like, guys, you guys got to come see the stream with Tiffany. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. But okay. So my favorite song. So when I listened to Folklore, immediately it was August and Mirrorball and Betty. That did it for me. Like, I instantly knew those were my songs. And I agree with you, where you instantly know what your songs are. So for me, I instantly knew that I haven't chosen my number one yet. So I don't have a favorite, but I instantly knew that it was Nobody, No Crime. Long story short, and I'm gonna say Champagne Problems and Tolerate It.
Oh, okay.
I love. Okay, so Tolerated, by the way, you know I love my track fives. You know I love them. Like, the sadder, the better, okay? This
I'm emotional. You love emotion. You love love. You love the drama. I know it.
all of it. Give it to me. So when I listened to Tolerate It, I didn't cry as much as when I listened to Marjorie, but Tolerate It, I think she took it to a very deep level. Now, I've never been, in a situation like what she's talking about in Tolerated, but if I can put myself in a situation like that, this is the song that definitely nails exactly what somebody that is, in love with somebody that's essentially having an affair. Now, I have this big theory about this song because, it comes right, and I'm going to talk about this more when I do my second video, which is going to be my Easter egg stuff. But she has this song right before Nobody, No Crime. So I definitely think that Tolerated and Nobody Crime completely connect because she is, in the first part, she's talking about somebody that is, seeing somebody that's hurting them, that's cheating on them, that's having an affair. And then in Nobody, No Crime, that connects in the sense where it's like, okay, like, Estee's telling me that, hey, her, it smells like infidelity, whatever, right? Then she did say that this was inspired by true crime podcasts and movies that she was listening to. Tiffany, one of the major, news stories that broke within the last year or so, I think it was the last year, was the Watts family story. And I haven't seen very many people make this connection, but do you remember Shannon Watts and her husband who killed Shannon and he killed the two daughters? So there was
now that when you said the daughters, I feel like I do remember that story.
You'll know because there was a documentary on this on Netflix. And so there was a documentary on Netflix on this, and there was also a movie on this on Lifetime. So I wouldn't be surprised if she drew a little bit of inspiration from that, because one of the major things in the Watts family storyline is that Shannon, his wife, before he murdered her, she would always be sending him, text messages, telling him that she loves him and like, please pay attention to us. Like, don't forget about us. Like, we love you. Like, let's make this work. And that was one of the pivotal things about this whole documentary was that, Shannon was very, very much, still in love with her husband. And there's even supposedly there's rumors, or this is according to her husband who killed her, that when he strangled her, that she didn't necessarily fight back. And then she also Tiffany, I'm not kidding you. Shannon, she had a friend who was the last person that she saw when she dropped her off at her house before she got murdered. And prior to that, she was confiding in the friend. She was confiding in the friend about, her husband having an affair. And so
was it with the friend?
No, it wasn't with the friend. Sorry. He was having an affair with a different woman. Okay. But all of this stuff to me connects to Tolerated and Nobody, No Crime. And I can't get it out of my head.
We need to see what the people are commenting. Do people agree? Do they agree with this theory? But man, I mean, when I listen to Tolerated, it's just like so sad. I think of people I've known who've been in kind of like uneven relationships where they're more into it than the other person, and they feel, gosh, I would love that. A Broadway Taylor musical, that would be everything. That's all I've ever wanted. Like with all the songs of Taylor over time, like Mamma Mia, but Taylor Swift, I'm in.
Yes, I like that idea. So Babs essentially says he sees Taylor writing a musical for Broadway and can see a Tony do it. Okay, so I'm trying to see if anybody knows what I'm talking about with the whole Watts thing, because I don't know if I'm crazy or if okay, oh my gosh. Flora K says, I thought I was the only one that thought of the Watts family. Thank you for bringing this up. Taylor Lane says, I thought the same thing. I'm sure Taylor watched the documentary on Netflix. Jane A says, seen this film in Netflix too. So sad. Claire Ann says, yes. Derek Juan says, oh my God, I instantly thought of the Watts case as well. Jason says, more like Lacey Peterson case. Yes, also I thought of the Lacey Peterson case. He couldn't be charged until they found the body. That's another one. And it's always the same thing. Whenever a husband kills his wife, she always has a mistress, and they always somehow care about the mistress more. Dylan Turner says her friend dropped her off. Exactly. So it's almost like, and there's connections to that where, the friend, has all the information. Tiffany, you got to watch this documentary on Netflix.
I do. And I mean, we know Taylor loves Netflix. We know she watches so many movies, TV shows. She admitted that she loves true crime. So, I mean, if everybody thought of that, I bet that probably was her inspiration. I feel like there's definitely something to that.
Yes. And I was trying to see if anybody else, I hadn't seen it pop up on my Twitter. I don't know if anybody else has posted this, but I instantly thought it. Dylan Turner's American Murder, The Family Next Door. Is that what it's called? Because I kind of forgot what it was called.
That sounds like what it would be called. It sounds
yes.
Right.
Yes. And then Maria says, oh my God, you got a point. I can also see the connection. Derek says that case shook me when I first heard it. So we all know Taylor has been watching a lot of TV shows and so much of this stuff. So I truly do think that this might have obviously not have driven the entire inspiration for this song, but obviously maybe drove some inspiration for all of this. So, okay. Those were our favorite songs. Obviously, we still have 2 more songs that we have to listen to, which are the bonus tracks, which are Right Where You Left Me and It's Time to Go. And I kind of hate that we have to wait for these songs to listen to them, because when she did that with Folklore, The Lakes ended up being one of my favorite songs off the entire album. And I feel like I'm missing out,
I know she does this to us, makes us buy that physical copy. So
exactly.
But at the same time, I do love having the deluxe editions, just to have the CD and add to our growing CD collections.
Let's talk about Evermore duets. So on here, she had The National, she had Haim, she had Bon Iver, and let's talk about the duets. How do you feel about the people that she duetted with? How do you feel they did, and do they measure up?
I mean, the Haim duet that we were just talking about, No Body, No Crime, is amazing. First of all, I love the Haim sisters. I've always loved her friendship with them. They just seem like they all really get each other and have a lot of fun together. So the fact that they got to do this country folk song together, oh my gosh, did you see the TikTok the Haim sisters posted?
The one where they're eating Olive Garden?
Yes, and lighting the menorah for Hanukkah. And I was like, and one of them has the knife. I was like, I love these girls. They're so into it, and they're so talented. So my favorite collaboration on the album, as far as a duet, is definitely No Body, No Crime.
Jane A sends in another super chat. Thank you so much, Jane. She says, if there is a Taylor Swift escape room, oh my God. Tiffany, how would you feel about that?
That'd be so fun. I mean, I've only done escape rooms a couple times, but I do love a good puzzle. And imagine if it was it relied on your Swiftie knowledge, we would ace it. We'd nail it. It would be so good.
I feel like I would panic and I wouldn't ace it whatsoever. I don't do good with clues. It takes me a really long time. I got to sit down and I got to think about it for a really, really long time. We have so many comments, by the way, from everybody here. We have one from Bella who says, the Haim duet was the best duet on the album. That I agree. And that's shocking because the Bon Iver one with Evermore was fantastic.
I know. Well, I think, it's funny, and maybe somebody in the comments can let us know. I think I'm not cool enough to know. I think it's Bon Iver is how you say it.
Am I saying it wrong?
I think maybe. I know. I'm like, but at the same time,
I feel like I'm
not 100% sure. But here's what I do know. I'm pretty sure it's Bon Iver. But I think because, just in general with Folklore, Evermore, I love when the people love Taylor Swift, because we know they didn't always. And when we get the masses on board, it's everything to me. So when these, like cool indie people are like, oh yeah, I'm listening to Folklore. I love her collab with Bon Iver. I'm like, oh, me too. And I just love the fact that like, everybody's in on it. Like people who maybe weren't Taylor fans in the past are like realizing what we've always known, that she's the queen of everything. So I do love, that these highbrow collabs on the album.
Exactly. And then Taylor says, I hope Taylor argues with Bon Iver forever.
Bon Iver.
See, now I can't even say it anymore.
That one guy in her songs forever. Yes. Exile's great. But I think I like Exile better than this one, if I'm being honest.
I love Exile. I think Exile was the one that hit me harder than Evermore did. But Julieta says, no, it's, I don't know. Can you spell it out phonetically?
I know, when you just write it, I'm like, that didn't help us.
I don't know. Evangelist, I have heard it as, I don't know.
Yeah, Bon Ivy? That's what that looks like.
Wait, so is it like Bon
Iver? I don't know. Now I'm like, is it French? Now I'm like making stuff up. I don't know.
Taylor has said it, which is, we've heard her say it. So why don't I remember? Because she said it in the Folklore
long con sessions. Oh no. I mean, we could like YouTube and try and figure it out, but I don't know. Well,
okay. Well, hopefully someone sends it to us, phonetically. Okay. So Fatima 13 says she also likes Exile better. Okay, we got it. Taylor Lane says it's Bon Iver.
Yeah, see, so I was right this time. The one time I was right.
Thank you for telling me, because I've been calling him Bon. Wait, but Flora says it's James Bond.
Oh, she's just making a joke, like Bon.
Oh, you're making a joke? Okay. That's Bon Iver.
I think that's right.
Or wait, hold on. But then Bella puts, I think it's Ivar.
Bon Iver? Maybe. Now we're getting really technical.
Bon Iver. I don't know anymore, guys. I'm so embarrassed. Or okay, that's it. I'm done with this. Moving on. I don't know. Okay, wait. Someone says Bon Iver 100%.
Okay. So now we know. Call him Justin. Yeah, what's it? Justin Vernon is his name too. So there we go. Also.
Oh God, this is so complicated. All right. So okay, what were we talking about? I lost completely track of this.
Let me see here.
We were talking about the duets. Yes, we were talking about the duets. Okay. Let's talk about the trilogy theory, because that's definitely something that is on everybody's mind. So what do you think? Do you think it's possible? Do you believe the theory? We've been down this road so many times.
Haven't we? But I mean, do we know if that photo with where it says Woodvale in it?
It's real.
It's real.
I have it right here with me. I was looking at it just.
And you zoomed in? And it was like,
it's there. Like, go ahead, take over the stream. I'm going to pull it up.
So, I mean, I think it's definitely possible. People were saying also on Spotify, if you search Woodvale, Taylor Swift comes up, which is really interesting. And I think Woodvale, people were saying, is a place in England. Woodvale also is like a street in her hometown in like Pennsylvania. So there's lots of connections there. I think it's in one of the. Oh, does it?
You probably can't see it, but
in person, it's there, right, like on the thing,
right here. Like,
okay,
it says Woodvale.
We have a hard copy, and we can confirm that it says Woodvale on the hard copy. So I think there's definitely something to that, and I mean, I could see it happening. I know in one of the lyric videos they were talking about. Did you see this theory? And I can't remember which lyric video it was. If anybody knows, comment. But it's like there were like 3 wine glasses, so many something. It was like representing the 5 albums she can re-record, like the 2 she can't re-record yet, and then like the Folklore, Evermore, TBD, Baby Woodvale trilogy.
Okay, I need to go back because I watched all the lyric videos, but I didn't read any of the comments, so I don't know. But the one that I do know, the other like, I guess, hint is that in the Long Pond studio sessions, when Taylor was talking about the album, and she was talking about, August and James and Betty and all of that, Augusta, I keep saying Augusta, or I mean, I keep saying August, but she put her name as Augusta, whatever. Yeah. So when she was talking about that, she mentioned, instead of saying Trinity, she first said trilogy. And then afterwards, she changed it to Trinity. So she
Yes,
corrected
I've seen that
herself.
clip, and yeah. So I mean, I think it definitely makes sense. It could be a trinity of albums. The date people think it might come out is April 30th, because apparently also in this lyric video, a clock was set to 4:30, aka April 30th, and April 30th is the same amount of days away from the Evermore release as the Evermore release was from the Folklore release. And we know this girl doesn't do anything on accident. Everything is planned like 15 years in advance. So it's possible. And I would make a lot of sense, I think, that she does what, like in quarantine, she has just been pumping out songs like crazy. So I could see her releasing one more album.
Yeah, I've look, at first I didn't believe it. At first I was like, look, I've been through this. I believe the countdown. There's so many theories that I really believed in. And so I almost feel like I'm not going to get my hopes up until Taylor actually confirms it. But part of me seeing all of these little things and things that people are pulling up, like even the merch situation where they pulled up the 3 different colored cardigans, even that I'm like, okay, there's something to this, or there might be something to this. Julieta Ramos says, Folklore, Betty Evermore, Augustine, Woodvale, James. That's my theory. Interesting. Okay.
Interesting. Each person in the triangle goes with an album, maybe.
Yeah. And then Dylan Turner says, Tiffany is right. Woodvale is now copyrighted by Taylor Swift. LOL, JK, but still. And then Jody says, Taylor never planned a follow-up to Folklore, so I doubt there will be a trilogy, but if there is, it will also be unplanned.
Maybe.
Nina says, I really want it to be true. A 3rd album would be amazing. And Taylor Lane says, nothing Taylor does is coincidence. It definitely means something, just don't know what. But here's the thing, though. This is what I was going to breed on this here. Okay, so when she did the Q&A session on the Willow stream, there was a quote that she put, and it said, I wanted Evermore to represent fall and winter, while Folklore represents spring and summer. I've always wanted to do a 2-part anthology that's a collective body of work, and it just kind of happens naturally. So here, she's essentially confirming that it's a 2-part anthology.
Okay, then maybe it's just 2. Because, I mean, at the same time, Swifties have read way too much into stuff before. We all remember the 5 holes in the fence. And everybody thought she was counting down with steps and couch cushions. This girl wasn't doing anything. She was just taking Instagram photos. So sometimes there's something to it. And other times, it's just the Swifties are doing way too much. So Woodvale definitely seems like it's a hint towards something. We don't know what. It could be a future album. It could be some kind of hint. Maybe she got married there. Maybe she's going to get married there. I mean, there's always those theories too. Like, is she engaged? Is she married? Will we ever know? But there's definitely something to Woodvale.
What do you think? Do you think she's married, secretly engaged?
Okay, I don't think she's married yet, but I do think she might be engaged, because in the re-recorded version of Love Story, I'm sure some of you guys have seen this theory, the one that is in the Ryan Reynolds, devil commercial, which was strange for sure.
Random commercial.
People think she maybe says, instead of baby just say yes, baby just said yes.
Oh, I got chills.
I know, right? Like, she just said yes to Joe, like just said that she would, marry him. And this girl's been singing about paper rings and wanting to be his wife for years now, giving him a child. So clearly she wants to marry Joe. And I think it seems like they've been dating 4 years now, which is so crazy to think it's been that long. Because so much of the beginning of their relationship, we did not witness or didn't know they were dating. But so it seems like at this point in time, an engagement you feel like would occur, considering how serious it seems.
I think at this point, if Joe hasn't yet, he's got he knows she's going to say yes.
She's been writing songs about it forever.
Seriously, how many more hints can the girl give?
I'd marry you with paper rings. It's paper. You're my lover.
When he goes out shopping for that rings and be like, well, she did say she'd marry me in paper rings. So I probably don't have to put that much effort. Faith East, going back to the trilogy theory, she said Woodsy picks as the only words in all caps in the post about digital albums. And then
Woodsy, Woodvale.
Yeah, exactly. Connected. And then she was making the whole Folklore land thing a lot too. Brittany says, I could see Taylor going jazz rock like False God. Ooh, I would be here for that.
That would be cool. I mean, like Miley Cyrus right now having her rock and roll moment. Can you imagine if Taylor gave us like a rock and roll moment like that? You know, like bleach Chella hair. Like,
I've
I don't
been
know when
wanting
she
that
might do
forever.
that. That'd be a total switch, but she has surprised us so much over the years. So gosh, I would love anything rock and roll, jazz rock. I'm here for it.
Jane A sends in another super chat. Jane, thank you. She says, 3 stars on Cardigan merch trilogy album. Is it really 3 stars?
There are 3 stars on the cardigan. Mm-hmm.
It's 3 stars.
You never know. And you know, nothing's an accident.
See, I thought the 3 stars were for the love triangle theory, the whole love triangle thing.
Oh, maybe. But that's the thing too. It's like if, you know, it's 3 star, like she also repeats things a lot, you know? Like there's always themes that go across. Wait, Woodvale is a wedding podium?
I did not know that. I don't know anything about that. Okay, that's interesting. I did not know that. Are you Googling this? Yeah, Google it because I need to know.
Podium. Like what do you mean exactly?
Is it like a type of wedding podium? Francisco says a lot of the things in the store are selling in packages of 3.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And then everybody's saying Faith E Love Triangle 3 album. So is it a wedding podium?
I can't tell. I'm not sure. I searched. There's lots of wedding photos when you search that, but I think they might be like in the Woodvale area. I don't know, but maybe there's something there. I don't know.
Grace and PG Weber says, also, asking Alexa to play Evermore, you get Tia saying hello and great choice. LOL, indeed it is. I'm sure you've gone over this. Just so brilliant. I didn't know about that because I don't have an Alexa. Yeah, me either. I don't have an Alexa either. So, okay, I would probably have to listen to that as well because I don't really know. Francisco says, also, she finished Evermore last week. I doubt that she just stopped writing after Evermore was released. She did mention that. I think she said Happiness was the last song.
Yeah, she said Happiness was the last song written just the week before. So
Taylor Lane says she says she always wanted to release a 2-part anthology, which is why I don't think she will do a 3rd. Flora says, also, Dorothea being linked to 'Tis the Damn Season. Dorothea made the male perspective and 'Tis the Damn Season being Dorothea's version. I didn't know about that either.
That makes sense because it's like Dorothea, she went off to like the big city. It almost sounds like Dorothea's a celebrity or a model in the song.
Somebody said that they thought it was about Selena Gomez.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe inspired by Selena Gomez. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, it's something. There's so many theories out there. Yeah. I can't keep up.
But Flora, that theory makes sense. That it's like, oh, then for 'Tis the Damn Season, you know, Dorothea's returning. Everything always leads back to this guy in her hometown. And, you know, I see it. We are clowns. Gosh, we sure are.
I completely agree with you, Natalia.
But I will say that I think the fact that she said, oh, the 2-part anthology, unless she's trying to throw people off, it does seem like maybe then there is no 3rd album, you know? And because she is re-recording the original albums right now, then it seems so like busy. She's busy. She might be focusing more on that instead of releasing more, you know, folklore, Evermore type songs.
I didn't see Evermore.
I know, right? And that's that's the crazy part. She tweeted the 9 emojis, like I think multiple times. And people were trying to figure out, is it a countdown? What's in 9 days? And it wasn't even about the days. It was about the 9th album. And nobody got that. I didn't see a single person ever guess that. I don't know. And even too, I mean, with the dice, like Paul McCartney tweeted the 13 dice, which I guess I feel like was a hint that something was coming ahead of Taylor's birthday.
The Spotify commercial. Did you see that? There was like a little Spotify commercial where
and he said it's the 13 dice for me. Yeah.
Right.
So like, but then people were like, oh, maybe she's doing a collab with Paul McCartney. No Paul McCartney collab in sight. So we are clowns. You're correct. We are clowns.
I completely agree with this statement. And I'm scrolling through the rest of this albums here. Julieta Ramos says, what do you think about Betty forgiving James? Because according to Taylor, she forgives him.
Yeah.
They end up together. Excuse me.
And she said that they end up together. Exactly. You know, I don't know. I think, well, because James straight up cheated, right? Like he and Betty were together.
Oh, he did. He cheated.
Yeah. I'm not into that. You know, some things are unexcusable. So I don't like that.
I know. She made it more dramatic, though. She made it more complicated by saying that Betty and James end up together. Why? Why did they end up together? I don't agree with it either.
I think Taylor likes to have her art imitate real life. And oftentimes that's what happens. People, like somebody makes a mistake, they forgive and try and move forward. So maybe she was even thinking about like friends she knows or who knows what she was thinking about. But I do think, yeah, she likes to have her songs imitate real life situations.
I think you're right on that one. Like you said, I think more often than not, you do see people return. Rachel says, I've also seen Dorothea could be the name of Gigi's baby. Man, has Gigi had her baby already, didn't she?
Yes, yeah, Gigi had the baby, and I've seen theories that it's either like Dorothea could be the baby's name or Willow could be the baby's name.
Oh, I didn't consider
Which would be interesting if Willow was Gigi's baby's name because Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner's baby is named Willa. and I mean, there's so many connections here. Joe and Gigi dated. Obviously, Joe Jonas and Taylor dated eons ago, and now she buys the ex's baby's presents. Obviously, we think that line is about Joe and Sophie. There's a lot to unpack there. But I know Dorothea is a kind of an interesting name for a baby. I guess if it was like a grandmother's name or something like that, it could be interesting. But, given how she put Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's kids as their names in Folklore, it would make sense that she would, tease something like that with Gigi's baby's name in Evermore.
I feel like in a few years, every kid's either gonna like all the Swifties are gonna name their kids like Inez, Betty, Dorothea, Esty. Because I right away I was like, oh, Esty, that's a cute name. I was like, I like that. Or like August, or like you just said, Willow. Like there's gonna be some very, very Swiftie-esque names out there. Betty being one of them too. Betty O says this album has a lot of infidelity issues. Yeah,
Betty.
She took it to another level with that. Tiffany, one of the other things that I wanted to ask you though was, which song do you think deserves a music video? And we kind of already briefly touched on the Disney Plus part, so we both want it, right? But which songs would you like to see a music video for the Evermore album, from the Evermore album?
Well, let me look at the track list again. Let's see. My first thought, I think one that could get a music video and seems right is No Body, No Crime. Like I could see her and the Haim sisters really wanting to do a music video together, and it's like such a country folk song. I could see them maybe pushing it at country radio. It has definitely that like Goodbye Earl, 2 black Cadillacs, take out the man vibe.
If they didn't do this as a music video, like a big shame. Like people are still sad. I think I'd be more sad. People are still sad we didn't get a Cruel Summer music video. I would be more sad if we didn't get a No Body, No Crime music video.
Well, and the big question is, it's like, are we going to get any other music videos from Folklore? Like Exile? I feel like we're probably not. It seems like we've moved on.
We still don't know what's happening with Loverfest.
I know. Folk Lover Evermore Fest is going to be crazy. Gosh, you know what I was thinking about the other day, though? And I mean, who knows when festivals and concerts will be 100% back to normal? It seems far off, but who knows what could happen? However, I mean, I feel like now that she's released this folk music, I've been pushing for this for years, and I feel like it could finally happen. Taylor Swift headlines Coachella.
You think she'd do it?
I mean, I wish she'd do it. Do we think, she was going to play Glastonbury, and right, she had
That's true. That's right. She was going to do that.
And I feel like with this music, because it's like more alternative, she would, you know what I mean? Like could now maybe like, could do it.
Yeah. I feel like because I feel like she might get into that because I remember her saying something about her braving the Coachella festival and her finally having enough courage to do it somewhere. I forget where she mentioned this.
She's only gone once that we know of, and that was in 2016 when she was still dating Calvin Harris, and she went because Calvin Harris performed. But that's when we got Bleachcella, and God, iconic.
Look, it's complicated for me because I hate festivals. Like, I don't like festivals. Like, I'm not a fan of them. Like, I don't like having to be sitting there for like hours to like get a good spot. I don't like being sweaty with like all these people. That's why I don't do Coachella or any of that stuff. Like, I went to one festival. Now, I went to 2 festivals, and I did not like my experience at either of those festivals. And like, I'm like the person that doesn't like, I'm not really into it. So I'm like, oh, I prefer like a regular concert if I had to choose between a concert and a festival. But we do have some comments here, and everybody, Jason wants to see Champagne Problems as a music video. Julieta says Nobody No Crime. Taylor says Nobody No Crime needs a music video. Donna says, do you think there will be an Evermore Long Pond studio session?
I can see it. I think that would make a lot of sense, or something, maybe not exactly like the Long Pond studio session, but something similar, some kind of TV special. I think that would make sense for her to do that.
Babs51 says Nobody No Crime is perfect for a music video. Morwenna says she wants to see a Betty music video.
I mean, we thought for a while we might get one, since she kind of made that a country single in its own right, but it's like, I don't know if we will now.
Julieta says Nobody No Crime as a short film.
Yes, directed by Taylor Swift. I can see it now.
Yes, we need a film. Jane A says can't wait for the concert. Like, whatever the concert is that we get, I can't wait for it either. So I am a little bit scared, though. I will tell you this, because so I got tickets for the Billie Eilish concert, and first they did the whole it's postponed thing. We're gonna wait. We're gonna change the date. They still have your money, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Well, last week I got the email saying it's officially like canceled. Here's your money back.
Oh, I mean, and yeah, because with Taylor, it's like we bought our Loverfest tickets forever ago now, and it's crazy to think that, you know what I mean, like Loverfest would have been now almost 6 months ago. It's crazy. But
yes.
I kept my tickets. I didn't get them refunded. Now you can't get them refunded at this time, but it will be interesting to see if she like keeps that, or she just totally cancels it and does a whole new thing. I don't know.
I'm scared, Tiffany. I got pit tickets. I don't know if I can get those again. It was hard.
Because I've even thought about like I'm on the floor, but they weren't like the greatest tickets. But yeah, you got like, you are in the pit. You got the greatest tickets of all time. So I feel like it actually seems like maybe they'll do a thing again where they open it up where you could return your tickets. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's gone on this long. Maybe she'll just keep it.
I know. I'm really scared because I don't want to give up those pit tickets. Like, I get it. I would get plenty of money back, but it was so hard. It's not even like about the money. Like, you can have the money, but you got to get lucky to even get the dang tickets. And I got lucky. I don't want to let them go.
Oh, those pit tickets were hard. I remember logging on and like at first I saw them and I would click and then I would try to process it and it'd be like, no, you can't get it. And then I still got tickets, thank goodness, but you scored big time. Very lucky.
Dude, it was like a whole, I don't even want to get into that. That was like a very traumatic experience for me. Jane A says, can't choose between the albums. It's like choosing your right hand over your left one, especially once we get even more familiar with Evermore. It's going to be even harder and harder. Francisco says, maybe a movie about the writing sessions for Evermore, like Reputation.
I'd be into that.
Serotonin says, I feel like Folklore and Evermore fit a more jamming in your lounge with your friends kind of vibe. A concert doesn't make sense for them. But then again, it's like, man, how do we not get a concert though? Like, I get it. It would be like a more calming type of concert.
Yeah. Well, what she might do is, because Lover was definitely, still songs you could play in a big stadium. And when she does a concert, she'll always play the hits. Like, she'll always do Shake It Off, Blank Space, Love Story. But since she's currently re-recording the albums, maybe she'll wait until that's all done, and then she'll do kind of like a greatest hits stadium tour, greatest hits festival, like Loverfest. So it's like everything combined. It's Folklore, Evermore, Lover, but then also all of our favorites.
Yeah, that would be really cool, and I'd be really happy to get that. But then it'd be like a 4-hour concert, which I don't mind, but, girl will have to do a lot of work. But seriously, I think it would be really cool. Guys, submit your last and final questions. We are about to wrap up this podcast here today. Tiffany, it's been like so much fun just like coming back here. And who knows, maybe in a couple months we'll be back again talking about this. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you feel we need to talk about that I didn't rush through?
Would you say for music video, is Nobody No Crime the music video you want?
Yes. Oh, actually, I want Nobody No Crime. I would want, let me look at this. I'm thinking, I kind of want Long Story Short because that's such a fun song.
Yes, and I actually was thinking about that. I'm so glad you said that because Long Story Short references all these past songs and past Taylor Swift eras. Because I think the whole message is, the long story is all of her albums, right? Like the heartbreaks she went through, the bad times. But long story short, she found Joe and she found the person she was meant to be with. So a music video that really references those old albums and like has her in those places would be so cool and nostalgic for fans. And plus, it's just like an upbeat, fun song that I think would make a great single. So I also would love the Long Story Short music video.
I think it'd be really freaking cute. There you go. That is our stream, everybody. Stream Evermore. I swear. I mean, we're just going to keep falling in love with these songs even more. Please keep an eye out on the channel. So on the channel already, you will find my first listen reactions. You can go and see I cry my alleys out to Marjorie. It's really embarrassing. It's on there. You guys can go ahead and check all of that out. Plus, I will be working on a ranking video that will be coming shortly. Plus, I'm also working on an Easter egg video. So I got to do some studying and break down these lyrics for Evermore. So that'll be up as well. In the meantime, you guys can go over to the Crazy Obsessed Taylor Swift fangirl videos. Tiffany, how many videos do you think are on there that are Taylor Swift related? What's your best guess?
100? Is that too many? 60.
It's over 140.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Sorry?
Do you have any final comments that came in? I was going to say before we wrap it up.
Oh, yeah, we got a few. Pretty much people want to know, Evermore or Folklore?
I would say Evermore.
Evermore. I can't pick. Tiffany, I don't know how you could pick so easily. You know what? Since you went Evermore, I'm going to go Folklore.
I was going to say, I think you're Folklore. Like, I just feel that you, especially all the love stories on Folklore, you're Folklore, I'm Evermore.
It's just like, God, like Folklore. Like, there's so many. I got the 8 copies. This is the most action I've done with these.
Oh my gosh. Just picked them up and showed them off.
Yes, seriously. We have also some comments from Fred Klein says, you didn't say your favorite album. Oh, well, because we said it now. So you're Team Evermore. I'm Team Folklore. So a little bit for everybody. So if somebody here is Team Folklore or Team Evermore, you got somebody here to represent you. Taylor Lane, yes. Watch Jimmy Kimmel tonight. Taylor will be on, and there's going to be Easter eggs. There's going to be news out of that. So expect for something to happen.
Yeah, maybe some of our questions from this stream will be answered tonight. So let's hope.
Big Scotty McCreary fans, Denise, we have the same hoodie. I know you can't even see it because of the lower third, but there you go. And now they're probably going to put out another one with more of the Taylors. Oh, this is the Lover one. Yes, it stops at Lover. But I thought did I not get one for Folklore? I don't remember.
Because they made a Folklore one, yeah. And I have on the Folklore tie-dye sweatshirt, which I will say I love. I mean, I love Taylor merch always, but this one's so comfy, so would recommend.
Yes, it's really cute. You know what? I remember now. I did not get the Folklore one. The Lover one was where I stopped because I was like, I just got the Lover one.
Well, maybe if they do an Evermore, it'll be a good thing you didn't get the Folklore because then you can
not
skip the Evermore
anymore. They're gonna have to do a bottom row.
Make it like tiny.
They're gonna be really tiny Taylors. Jody says Folklore all the way. Rayma says Team Evermore. Fred Klein says Folklore because Evermore just came out. Yeah, it's really hard to say. Rachel says she thinks Closure is definitely about Kanye West. Jane A says Evermore.
There you go. The best of both worlds.
And the girl on the moon says Team Forevermore. That's really cute. I love how everybody's like coming up with like all of these like, different little name things that you can do. Alrighty, but there you guys go. That is the stream. But before we go, guys, please give some love over to Tiffany Taylor. We have so many videos together on this channel, by the way. You can definitely find them, but follow her. Tiffany, promote yourself.
Yes. Well, first of all, Denise and I have made so many fun videos. My favorite is that Taylor Swift lyric game we played one time where it was like, guess the lyrics. We'll have to do that again. Maybe with
guess the Taylor Swift song.
Yes, based off of clues. It was super fun. But yeah, if you want to follow me, you can go to Twitter or Instagram at _Tiffany Taylor. If you watch the stream, be sure to tweet me, leave a comment. Because I'd love to follow you back and interact with you. So thank you guys. And I tweet and post about Taylor-related content all the time, trust me.
Yes, guys, please follow her. She's nice enough to come on here and do this stream with me. And right now you're on the East Coast, so it's even later for you. So I appreciate you taking the time to come on here. Now, did I say East Coast? Is it
Technically, I'm in the Midwest. It's like
Midwest?
Central Time. So I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. Also, any Midwest people, let me know.
I don't know my own time zones in my own country. Alrighty, everyone. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo. Follow Tiffany. Give this video a like. Oh, also, all the links for Tiffany's Twitter accounts and stuff are on the description box. You guys could just click on those. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, check out the Crazy Obsessed Taylor Swift fangirl videos, watch Jimmy Kimmel tonight, and we'll see you guys later.